I'm Jordan Larson, and you're listening to the Ace Space podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ace Space, the volleyball podcast brought to you by CEV, where every episode we catch up with a legend of the game. If you're joining us for the first time, then welcome, but you've missed out on a couple of episodes with this very special guest indeed. Joining myself and Matt Rogers, once again, is Jordan Larson. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, really well. Good to have you back. Matt.
How was your week, Jordan?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, a little bit of golfing here and there. I can't complain. Life is good.
Can you stop rubbing it in that you're allowed to play golf, please? Because, I mean, so I'm in London, you're still in California, Matt's in Cornwall. Are the golf courses open in Cornwall, Matt?
Officially, no.
They're not open here.
You can exercise. The crazy thing here, you can exercise as long as you exercise for longer than the journey it takes to get there.
Hang on, what?
So if you go to a beach, it's like 10-minute drive, and as long as you're there for 20 minutes, then you're fine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, so that means you could play golf at a course that was, if it was less than a 2.5 hour drive away, then you could go for a knock.
Exactly. Drive up country for a round of golf.
At least your beaches are open, huh? Are your beaches
open? Yeah. Technically, I think as long as you're exercising, it's fine.
Have you been to Cornwall, Jordan?
I have not. No.
We can cut this bit out, but yeah, we just explained where it was.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so Matt, you could give it a plug. Matt Rogers loves Cornwall more than anybody loves any part of the world.
It's the promised land, Dave. No, it's the same with everywhere. Where you grow up, it's always special.
Matt commutes from Cornwall to Luxembourg for work.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Anyway, let's.
There's positives. My Netflix to watch list is empty.
Is it? What's good? I'm looking for I'm watching Community at the moment. It's amazing.
I'm watching Last Dance at the moment. You must be watching that as well.
Yes, it's fantastic.
I've not.
This is good actually because we're talking about stuff off the court.
Yeah, we are. I need to get on Last Dance, don't I? That was what.
Yes.
I was talking about this the other day. That was when I fell in love with basketball. I'm not in love with it anymore. But that, like, Ron Harper, Tony Kukoc, Luke Longley, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan Bulls team was just. And are you a bit young to remember that one, Jordan?
No, I grew up like idolizing Michael Jordan, and then obviously like Scottie Pippen was like right there, and obviously learning about his role in the team. And yeah, it's so crazy to like take yourself back to that. I remember writing a letter to Michael Jordan. I like sent a card to, like a player card or whatever those are called, and like, can you please sign it, and I got like sent back like, sorry, we don't sign like these kind of cards, they have to be a certain. Yeah, I know, so heartbreaking, but I do remember sending that in.
Because of course you played, didn't you? Average of 14.8 in the 2003-04 season. I remember it well.
Yeah, me too.
What's the strangest thing that you've had to sign?
Oh goodness. I think I was in a bar one time and some guy was like, sign my chest.
Did you?
I did, yes. Yeah. So, you can't, if that's his dream, you can't deny the dream, So that's, made his dreams come true that day.
Well, this is good because we're trying to learn more about the person behind the player, and we now picture Jordan in a bar signing a guy's chest. That's a Saturday night, is it?
That's me, and yeah.
I love the bar chat. How did you celebrate after a game? Like, because I suppose you play a lot of evening matches on a Saturday, but would you sort of go out to celebrate with teammates, or is it all pretty low key?
Yeah, I'm not really one to like go out and really party per se. I do like to go out and have like a really nice dinner with teammates and have a few drinks, but nothing like crazy. Don't get me wrong, there have been a couple moments in my life where it's been worth celebrating, where it's a 4 a.m. Kind of thing, but nothing too extreme most of the time. But I do like to have a nice dinner with friends and go out. So
one day we'll do an After Dark podcast where we can find out about the 4 a.m. stories. But yeah, today we want to find out about the person off the court. So What sticks out for you as something that you really like to do outside of volleyball, other than golf? Because
Oh
making me
man, you're
jealous
keeping
with
it
that.
there already, man. Come on. Uh, yeah, I just enjoy like any like other activity outside. I love playing games. I like to play cards. I like to go for walks with my dog, and just spending time with family and friends is what I really. Just because we don't really get to do that, right? So just that is just so nice.
Does all that come from the fact you were born and brought up in a fairly rural area? Is that right? Your dad was a farmer?
Yep, my dad was a farmer. Yep.
What
Um,
kind of animals?
We raise, first he had pigs, and then he now has cattle. And I actually was in 4-H, which, yeah, I showed like a cow calf pair back in the day. And yeah, I kind of grew up trying to learn more of the agricultural side, and it just wasn't my thing. My dad was such a saint. I just wasn't very passionate about it. So I'll be curious, like, who's going to take over the farm, next. But yeah, I was more of a city girl, and enjoyed shopping, I guess, more so, even though I don't really enjoy shopping, but just, yeah, I like going out, going to movies and things.
Farmers make great athletes, though. They just do. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I mean, I think just working on the farm, right? Chores like doing, feeding the cows and doing those kind of things. And I used to, I don't know how much you know about farming, but oftentimes when the when the corn and beans, grow, and oftentimes beans, like my dad has a bean bar. So basically it's my dad's driving the tractor and we're sitting on the back, like it's me and my 3 cousins, and there's chairs like in the rows. And so we're sitting on these chairs, and there's not fertilizer, it's like I can't think of what the word is now, to kill all the weeds. So we're sitting,
Pesticide.
huh?
Pesticide.
Yeah, there you go. See, you know a lot more than me. And so we're sitting on the back, and we're basically like driving and like spraying the weeds as we're going. And so oftentimes we would spray our like cousin, like my cousin. I'm like, oh, whoops. And I'm like, ugh, but that was like our work on the farm. It was like all day, like, spraying the weeds. And I think just that work ethic, it probably carries over
Mm.
to professional life as well.
because it says online you started volleyball at age 8. Is that correct? And your
Yeah, I think it
first
was
coaches
about
were your mum and your dad?
Yeah, my parents were my coaches. My dad was my junior high basketball coach. So yeah, it was very and my dad played football in college, so he was very athletic. My mom played all the way through high school and still holds, I think, free throw percentage at my high school. You didn't look up that stat. She was like gnarly at free throws. So yeah, she still, I think, is on the leaderboard at my high school. So
If I'm right, I think you still hold a record there as well, don't you?
I think I have quite a few there, actually. Yeah.
The one I
At one point,
remember was
I think,
501, was it? 501 points?
yeah, I don't remember. Jeez, man, I don't know. I have to go back and look.
Because
But
this
yeah,
was Logan View High School, yeah, in Hooper.
yeah, yeah, in Hooper, Nebraska. Yep, exactly. So small town, but
And then it was on to the University of Nebraska, obviously a big
yep,
volleyball place.
yep, exactly.
Regularly sells out with 10,000 fans, which obviously amazes us over here. And graduated with a degree in communication studies. So, and that is evident with what we're doing here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent
Yep,
communication.
yeah.
Was it always Nebraska then? Because you've spread your wings, you've travelled so far since. Was there any temptation to go somewhere else for college?
Yeah, so I was actually asked to do like not asked, I got asked to come be like a part of like a high performance camp. So at a pretty young age, I think I was like 14 maybe. And I met one of the UCLA assistant coaches there, Jade, I think is her last name. How you say her name? I don't know, I really just had a great connection with her. And I thought about going to UCLA, but obviously for me, like Nebraska was 45 minutes from my house. I was like, and they were really good and all these things, I was like, I would be stupid to not go. And to think about my parents not being able to come to my games, like, was really hard for me. And so it just was a very easy decision.
And I think I'm right in saying there was a celebration. They retired your uniform. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
That must have been emotional.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, honestly, it didn't really hit me until like that day. And I've had a lot of great friends along the way, but there was two other seniors that graduated with me, and they are lifelong friends of mine. And they both did a video together, and just like uh, bringing back so many memories. And I was just like, luckily I got to see it before it was like that night. Otherwise, I would have been an emotional mess. And I was like sitting in my car watching this and just like crying because I was like, all of this come full circle, you know. And then right before I'm like ready to walk out, our director of ops, which is like the lady that like takes control of planning of everything, she's just a phenomenal person, and I just lost it. Like I couldn't believe that, like, small town girl, like, here I am now, my jersey being retired, and like, what? Like, I couldn't like comprehend, and I had lost it, and I just like fall into her arms, and she's like half my size. I'm like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, it was really a cool event. So
At that point, did you think that that might be the biggest thing that ever happens to you?
oh goodness, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was one of, yeah.
What year was this? What year was it retired?
Oh goodness.
Roughly.
3 years ago, I think. 3 years
Okay.
ago.
Just amazing. Oh.
Yeah.
And what is the earliest game point or trophy that you can remember in volleyball? Can you remember anything like back when you were 10, 11?
Yeah, I remember when I was 12, I was part of, this was kind of in club volleyball, like different club volleyball from like a youth standpoint, our club volleyball, when it really kind of started getting going, and especially in Nebraska, like it wasn't really super well known. And I remember being just so scared to go try out, and I ended up making the team, and then we had a really good team, and we ended up winning our regional, which was like unheard of, which qualified us for nationals. And I can remember we won a t-shirt, and it was like the biggest thing, right? It was like, oh my gosh, we get to go to nationals, and we get to go outside the state of Nebraska, you know. It was like such a big deal. And I just remember feeling like in awe of like, man, what is this life, you know? And I would just like go back to Hooper and like brag. I'm like, we won regionals and we're going to nationals. And like, people had no idea. They're just like, who is this girl talking about volleyball? And, you know, it was,
Obvious question. Do you still have the T-shirt?
oh goodness, I
Because that
don't
would be a
think
great photo, that next to the World Championship medal, wouldn't it? Like,
I should. I'm so sad I didn't keep it.
was it always volleyball?
It wasn't. No, I grew up playing soccer, played softball. So I was pretty good at softball, basketball. I ran track. I was also in the band. But I think if I
what
can
instrument?
Hold up.
Yeah,
oh,
if we could just stop there. We can press the accelerator again in a minute. But what instrument in the band, please?
so I grew up, my mom was actually really good at the piano. So I was taking lessons on the piano. So I did that. And then I started playing the recorder. Obviously, I think all of you guys did the recorder. And then when we got into real band, I started playing the trumpet. And then I got braces. Yeah. Mouthpiece was too small. So I had to go to, because it was just too hard to play. So then I went to the baritone, which is like a step down from the trombone. No, step down from the tuba. So yeah, it was
Do
interesting.
you still play?
That thing in the marching band was tough. So
Yeah, do you still play?
I don't know, unfortunately.
Because I have a dream of an unscripted band where we take Dave, because Dave is into music and plays a variety of instruments, and then we've already got some players, haven't we, Dave? We're not going to reveal, but there are some players out there that play music instruments incredibly.
I'm so pleased that you said we're not going to reveal, because I really nearly blurted the names out there. And you just so we've been asking some of the people that we speak to send us a video of them doing a skill, and there was one pianist in particular I was gobsmacked by how good he was. Oh, he was. That narrows it down
That narrows it down
to 50% of the volleyball playing professional population. But either way, I was like, how have you had time to get that good at a musical instrument and be a professional athlete? But either way, you're all full of surprises. But I suppose that there's kind of comparisons, isn't there? Because you need to have that sort of single-minded, driven nature. You need to commit time to it. You need to want to succeed. So I suppose being a good musician and then being a good athlete, they kind of two comparable things, particularly for a teenager where your mind's like a sponge.
For sure. Yeah. And I think if I have to say anything to anybody that's listening to this podcast, they're young, like do other things, like don't specialize, especially in the States. We're having this problem. We're specializing too early and people are burning out. And I think it's just really important to keep expanding, try new things, like get out there and do new things. And you never know what you could have a passion for or fall in love with. So we have a couple girls on the national team now that are also very musically inclined. And I think I'm envious. I'm like, why did I stop? And but at the time, volleyball, it just consumed me. And so, yeah.
Name them. I want to know who they are and what they play.
Yes. Are they willing to join a band?
Jordan Poulter, she's a new young setter on our team. Plays guitar, I think, and she doesn't like to brag about it, but I think she's pretty good. So
what I'd love to find, Dave, and maybe we can actually try and run this as a bit of a campaign. I want to find a professional volleyball player that plays the drums, because that's quite a physical instrument, isn't it? So when they got their downtime, can you imagine them then going and we should start a campaign to find a professional volleyballer who is a drummer.
Yeah.
Not a volleyballer, but Petr Cech, the goalkeeper, is a very accomplished drummer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So if we magicked up a trumpet now, you wouldn't be able to give us a ditty.
Ooh, definitely not. Sorry.
Okay.
Because if you turn around right now, you'll see.
Oh, here it is.
So what was plan B then? So plan A, I'm assuming, was go pro, volleyball, make it my life.
Yep.
What was plan B?
Basketball. Take it. Let's go. Yeah. I was not bad at basketball, and I also liked it. Yeah, just as well. I just didn't spend as much time at it, right? Like I was playing volleyball and club volleyball and then youth national team, junior national team. So I just didn't have the time to go into it as far. But I think if I probably did, I would be a professional athlete in basketball, I think.
Wow. You said earlier about advice and people are specializing too early. Looking back now, what advice would you give your 15-year-old self? Because at what point did you choose? That's probably a better way to start. 15?
Yeah, probably it was good. Yeah, good age. Yeah.
So what would you give? What advice would you give yourself?
Yeah. I think oftentimes I haven't really ever talked about this, but like made fun of a lot. I just wasn't the most popular kid. I mean, I was talented in what I did, and I think sometimes a lot of people found that intimidating. And so there were some hard times growing up where I didn't necessarily have a lot of friends, and people kind of frowned upon me or did those kind of things. And so I think for me, just staying the course and like just keep committing to it, and it's all going to be okay. And you're going to look back and you'll be like, kind of almost laugh and be like, you made fun of me, and now like kind of what, like here I am, and like this is the vision that I saw for myself, and like it all worked out. And so I think just trusting in that, and it's all going to be okay. But there was definitely some challenging times, and but yeah, it's all going to be great.
Do you think you need those challenging times? Do you think it's possible to be successful without them?
I do think it is possible, but I do think that if you didn't have any of those kind of things, I think it would be more of a challenge. So I am, as much as it pained me at the time, I think I'm forever grateful for that. And even, for example, like I think there was like a Gatorade, like national players, like top 50 players, right? And I was always number 2. Like I was never number 1. And I think for me, that was just always like a motivation. It was just always something in the back of my mind. Like, people don't believe in me, but I believe in myself. And I know it sounds probably so selfish, but I'm not even like that. But I just think that edge like just kept me going and kept me hungry. I think if maybe I was that number one, I would have settled. And I'm grateful for that.
Who was number one?
Cynthia Barboza. She was very good and went to Stanford, had a phenomenal career, and was on the national team, but decided to end her career just from an injury standpoint. But yeah, always respected her as well.
That's such a good question, Matt. Before you move on, I want to know what advice you'd give to your 15-year-old self. Yeah,
Me?
you, Matt.
Me?
Yeah, you. Yeah.
I like it too.
I similar here. I believe that everything ever achieved was once considered impossible. And if you take it back to just walking or climbing a mountain, at some point someone said it's impossible. But it's not, is it? You just got to find ways to achieve it. So yeah, I always look back and it's a bit different for me because I effectively trained as a teacher. That's my background, and I've never taught because London 2012 came along, and someone said, it'd be too difficult to get a job there. And that person said that, and I was like, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to get a job there. And that's then led to this and everything. So yeah, I would say similar thing. Kind of don't listen to other people. Listen to what you want to do, because it would have been far too easy for me to be a teacher. So yeah. Dave, same question to you.
Oh, all mine would be is don't drink that much Coca-Cola. Look after your teeth and it will be all right. Like, everything will be all right. I mean that. Yeah.
Same thing for me, but not Coca-Cola, probably.
Yeah, what we found out here is that you two are a lot deeper than me. But no, I think I think the underlying message is that, you know, we're all in our 30s now, and it's turned out okay. So yeah, when you're 15 years of age and it is a bit crap, it'll be fine. Yeah, London 2012 was quite big for all three of us in different ways, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How weird to think that we were all in the same place at the same time 8 years ago. And
I actually gave Jordan a towel at London 2012.
Did you?
Yeah, no, she was trying to reach for it. We had a position right behind the team bench, and you were reaching for a towel, and I said, "Oh, here you go," and you went, "Thanks." So yeah, there's a lot of players that wouldn't have said thanks, so I really appreciated it.
Good human being. Have you got a piece of memorabilia that isn't a medal that you kind of cherish?
Yeah. Oh goodness. Honestly, I have some, right, like world championship medal, those kind of things. I don't know. I have a couple. I kept a jersey from every team that I've played for, and I plan to show them in my house. And I don't know, but ultimately for me, I just try to keep the memories close, and that's what means the most to me. I think obviously all these medals and things are awesome, but those teams and those memories is what I hold dear to my heart.
I want to go back to the kind of 15-year-old person. So you effectively took the decision, it's volleyball, that is plan A. We'll keep plan B just in case, let's say. And then you made some big decisions. Puerto Rico, Kazan. At what point through that whole process did you feel like you'd made it? When did you think, oh, wow, this is what I was after?
And this is no time for modesty here, because you have objectively made it.
You're not the first person to ask that question. I don't know if I have a proper answer. And I still don't fully believe in my heart that I've made it. And I think that's what's kept me in it for so long. I know. For sure, there's times I look back and like when I think about, wow, I got to do all these things and I've got to be a part of these great teams. And yeah, you know, from the outside, it looks like it, but I don't feel like I'm even close to where I need to be. And I know I've had my faults through the years of, you know, we talk about me as a teammate, and like I'm just so even keeled, but sometimes that gets misconstrued and people misunderstand me. And how can I be a better, like come across in a better way? You know, I'm always trying to redefine and like, how do I keep expanding? So I think yeah, if I had to say, like, making my first Olympic team, like, that was like, hey, I finally arrived, like, I'm here. And then it's like, wait a minute, like, but I still want to do all these things. So I think for me, that was a moment where I was like, yeah, I'm here.
Away from the court and away from the gym, is there anything that's happened sort of in your life that you didn't expect to, like you've got recognized in a particular part of the world, or I don't know, you've got a phone call off somebody you didn't expect, or anything like that?
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, you guys probably know it better than me. I think when we won Champions League finals with Kazan, I was named best blocker. Is that right?
Hmm.
I think.
Yeah, that's
I
correct.
remember after that, one of the blockers, middle blockers on my team, she's like, what is this? Like, you're an outside hitter, like, and I'm like, I don't even know, like, I wasn't even, I thought I was best blocker or something that was not supposed to be an outside hitter. And that came as a shock. I was like, what the heck? I don't even, know. So, yeah.
Definitely correct. The thing that always amazed me is your variety of awards,
I
because you've
know.
received best receiver, best server, best blocker, best spiker, most valuable player. That's the full set, right?
It's close. Mine is best setter. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but I mean, if they give that to a non-setter, that would be quite a statement, wouldn't it? Can you imagine the setters?
Yeah, so mad. Yeah, no, I think I don't know. I've always like prided myself in the ability to be not just good at one thing, but try to be good at a lot of skills. And yeah, I think that just goes to show like why that is. You see the array of things.
So let's go back to the off the court, away from volleyball kind of thing. Have your hobbies and interests changed at all as you've become a pro, or maybe got older? Maybe there was something that you enjoyed in the past that you shouldn't do because maybe it's dangerous, risky, or I mean, golf is probably not, let's say, high risk. There's a lot of pro athletes that do that, but is there anything that's changed in your hobbies and interests over time?
Um, Not necessarily. I mean, I've gone skiing one time and I wish I could go again because I really had a great time. I'm fearful of what could happen and try to avoid that. But I do think that just in general, right? Like I would probably say as I was younger, I was going out more, like having, staying out to the wee hours in the morning for, you know, more often, where now I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll have a drink and go to bed at 9 p.m., so it's sleep has definitely taken a higher priority. So
Yeah, absolutely. I love a good sleep. I tell you what you should do then a little bit later in your career is take up snow volleyball, because then you can still play a high level and get to ski too. Honestly, I cannot recommend it highly enough. Get yourself on the snow.
for sure, for sure. No, I look at those athletes, I'm like, man, I don't know how they don't fall. Like it's crazy. Like
Mm.
it seems very, very challenging and a good challenge. So who's to say what's next?
Okay, so let's go again more off the court. Books, films, music, TV. What's your main interest? What's your go-to to relax?
Yeah, I've been trying to read more. Sometimes for me, just an audiobook is better. Sometimes to sit down and read is really hard for me to stay focused. Um, I like to watch TV quite a bit. There's a
Mm.
couple series, Ozark. Have you guys watched that on Netflix?
I'm aware of it. It's on.
I got 3 episodes into the first season. Should I get back into it?
Yes, you
Okay.
should.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so good. Also, there's a couple new series on Hulu that I've really liked, like Little Fires Everywhere, I think, just started. And yeah, but sometimes I don't get too involved with TV. I've been trying to really branch out of myself. I'm not super talkative person. Like I'm very kind of reserved and just kind of quiet, but just trying to reach out to my teammates more and get to know them and what makes them tick and like how to make them the best players they can be and what can I do to help in that. And so really trying to expand that side of it and like leadership side of it. So that's kind of what my challenge has been as of late.
We're doing a series of 4 podcasts here, Jordan, and you've just said that you're not particularly talkative. I beg to differ.
Yeah, I love to talk volleyball, right? Like this stuff fires me up. Like
Mm.
I love this stuff, and I really like when four in a day. I can just.
Shh.
I know.
You can sit week after week and talk volleyball.
Yeah. We can talk about volleyball. Like I love it. And but I know a lot of my teammates are not like that, right? Like they have all these things outside. And so when we talk about outside the court, like for me, like there's no like, they just so intertwine, right? Like I love it and I love talking about it. And it fires me up. And how do we keep solving the world's problems in volleyball? I can just talk about it a lot. So
Do
I think that's
you watch volleyball?
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who are your favorite players to watch? Let's go top man, top woman.
Yeah, I like to watch a lot of men's volleyball. I think it's fascinating. Obviously, like Leon is just physical and unreal, and just some of the top men's teams are just phenomenal to watch. But also top women. I mean, I like watching like Turkey like battle it out for a ticket to Tokyo was, I mean, unreal. Watching Germany I was just obviously getting to know Louisa and like rooting for her just personally, and how phenomenal they played in that qualifier was fantastic. And and obviously knowing people, right? Like it's like, oh well, she's my friend, like I can follow her, and like I don't know, you want to see people succeed, and I love that side of it.
Is there much that happens between players, like in that situation, for example? Did you message Louisa afterwards? I mean, do you get that when you come off the court and you just look at your phone, you're like, no, not right now, I'll come back to that?
Yeah, no, I try to reach out when I can, and like even Louisa, like, hey, like, you know, like bummer first set, but you guys got it, or you know, like you guys are still in it, and whatever. I always try to be encouraging and reach out, and if I can or if I think about it. So, but I don't know. For me, I love it. Again, I love talking volleyball. So anybody that's got anything, I think. Like when I talk about Maya Poyak and like how much respect I have for her, I think like I always encourage her feedback. Maya, what did you see? What's going on? She just had such an eye for it, and continues to mentor me and help me. So I appreciate that.
Do you have young players asking you to mentor them, whether it's as directly as that or whether they just come and ask you for a little bit of advice and you stay in touch?
Yeah, for sure. I do think that does happen. Yeah, and I think it's good to ask those questions, and I do see that quite a bit. So,
is there much team bonding in volleyball? Like in other sports, you hear about teams going off and spending time with the army or climbing, not a mountain maybe, but you know, taking up challenges. Does that happen in volleyball?
For sure. Yeah, we did one a couple years ago that was really nice. We went out and kind of went in the woods and did some of that stuff and get to know each other. I don't think it always has to happen. I think it is kind of crucial. But it does happen. I think it's just to what extent you want to involve and put the time in to do it.
I have something else.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, right. I do. So you've said a few things throughout these podcasts about what you hope to do in the future, potentially coaching, maybe now snow, based on what you've just said. There's always beach, media. I'm sure there's always opportunities in media. I want to know what you plan to do, your top 3 things that you plan to do when you've got more time. And maybe you've done some of them in lockdown, but 3 things away, not career options, but 3 things that you wish you could have done that you haven't been able to do.
Oh, goodness. Oh man. I would like to start a family. Does that count? I mean,
Of course.
I would like to have a family. I would say I would like to have a dog, but we just adopted a dog, and that's just an ultimate joy. And I would like to still travel. I oftentimes, when we go to these places, right, we see from the hotel to the gym, and that's about it. It's like, oh, there's Big Ben, and we don't get to go, you know, like I actually haven't been, you know, like I say that I've been there, but I really haven't. So kind of going back to some of these places and reliving those experiences, I think would be really cool. And obviously doing it with family would be fantastic. and goodness, 3 things. I don't know the other one. I think just diving into other areas, like finding new ways to improve my home. Like, how do I don't know, decorate or do those kind of things, or just to kind of explore the city that I'm living in, right? Like, I spend like 4 months out of the year here, and like, what's fun here? I don't know, like I only have a couple months to do that. So, I hope that answers your question.
It does. It does. Have a family and travel. Those don't always go well together, certainly with the younger years, but I can speak from experience there.
Okay.
Okay, no, so three fairly exciting things. But with the Olympics being put back a year, potentially those things have also been shifted back a year. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And
Yeah.
what were your thoughts when, I mean, obviously it's kind of inevitable when they made that decision and that announcement, and in the end it came quite quick. What were your kind of first thoughts and the consequences then of that from a playing point of view?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I was a little bit bummed. I think ultimately, like, I kind of had put myself in a position where 2020 was like going to be like, I felt good physically, like mentally, like it was just good prep. But I think ultimately I was just really happy it wasn't canceled. I think that would have been just ultimate bummer. Um, and I mean, like you said, all these life events that I had kind of planned are now just going to be pushed back a year, and it's okay. I think as a national team, like if I'm looking from a team standpoint, I think we needed this time, and I think we're going to really use it to our advantage to do that, and I'm excited for that.
If the stars align and you do get the gold medal and you complete the set, will you finally feel like you've made it?
Maybe.
Come on, there's only one answer to that question.
Yeah, I think for sure. I think it would be really cool. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. If you do, we'll get you back on and re-ask the question, and then go back and edit the episode.
All right, I'm gonna take notes right now. What's it gonna feel like?
Is there anything? I mean, life off the court is, let's say, private. It starts as private, but when you make that decision to be a pro athlete, there's kind of an acceptance that you're going to lose some of that privacy. Have you ever had to battle in terms of yourself, maybe about how much privacy you want to keep, how much you want to offer, how much you feel you're obliged to give, in terms of media, fans, especially with social media these days?
Yeah, I mean, I do think there is a balance, but I don't know. I've always felt like my fans have been super like supportive in what I give them and how much I choose to give them. I don't ever feel like I have to do too much, but I'm a pretty like relatively conservative person, so I try not to overshare, and but I do think it's cool. I know for me as a young athlete, it can be really cool to see, hey, what's day in the life? Like, what does she actually do every day? And I think try to accommodate those that want to know more as well. So, but I do understand. I feel like I'm such a small scale on some of these like bigger players, but I think it's cool what social media can do. It's a really big advantage for us, but I also can see where it's taking a toll on our society as well. So,
have you ever had any weird fans?
yeah, there's been a couple. Yeah, but it's okay. I mean, it comes with the territory, right? And you just gotta embrace it. So, but there has been a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to ask you to share any stories in particular, but like the first time it happened, that must have been quite strange.
Yeah, I remember it was in Japan. There was one in Japan. I won't go into too much detail of what it was, but it was a letter that looked a little scary, and actually I was like a little bit scared, kind of.
Wow.
So I kind of sent it to a friend that works in kind of those like investigation kind of things. So you just want to be safe. I mean, I didn't think this thing was going to hurt me or whatever, but you just never know. You want to have it documented in case. So, but yeah, it's been interesting.
And can you remember maybe one of the nicest things that a fan's ever done for you or surprised you with?
Yeah. Oh man, there's been a couple, like just some of these picture books. I mean, unbelievable. Like I had like a doll like made out of like not a bobblehead, but just like this doll that was like an image of me. And oh man, just unbelievable stuff that it's crazy. I'm just really thankful that they take the time and want to do that. So really cool.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. Like, yeah, because I suppose even though it's a huge sport with great players, great athletes, great fans, it's still smaller than some sports in terms of that sort of fan base. But I think that makes the supporters who really do follow the sport all the more special. So it's great to know that you've kind of got them on side, and it's also nice for them to listen to this and know that you appreciate that as well.
For sure, for sure. And I have a couple fans that have just been super loyal over the years, and I try to be very like accommodating and responding to them, and try to be just overly like thankful for that and express my gratitude as well.
How do you think the general public view you? I mean, clearly they know you as a player. Social media then effectively forms the off-court opinion, doesn't it? Because other than interviews, that is the access you get.
Yep.
How do you think you're viewed as, not as the volleyball player, everyone could probably get a similar picture for that, but for the off-court bit, how would you say you're viewed?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would hope to be in a positive light, but who's to know? Or again, I don't overshare, but I try to. Right now, it's a lot of dog spam, so I'm like, sorry, everybody, I love my dog.
Just wait till the kids, you'll increase tenfold.
I know. So, but I would like to see it and hope that it's in good light.
Is there anything that you would like people to know that maybe you don't think they already do about you as a person? Because when I talked to Maya, the main thing she said to me was that you don't smile half off, you don't smile anywhere near enough. Because you're such a lovely person. And watching you now, you're smiling all the time. But maybe that doesn't come through in the kind of normal persona that comes across.
Yeah. I just talked to her the other day, and she's like, I was asking some advice, and she's just like, smile more. And I was like, you're so right. And she's not the first person that said that to me. And oftentimes I'm not even aware, right? Like in my body, like that's the image that's coming across, but like I just don't. Like that's my dad's side of me. I tell my dad, I'm like, Dad, like I got your side. Like my dad is just very stoic and very serious. And so I'm really trying to like expand that and open up more. And so, but I want that, and I desire for that. I think part of it's just genetic, and I can't run away too far,
It's potentially a strength if you go into coaching, though, to have that kind of.
Yep.
Because there's a thing they teach you in teaching is don't smile until the end of the first term.
Yep.
If you smile too early, yeah, maybe it's not the same with coaching, but certainly the persona thing could be a strength when it comes to coaching.
For sure. And I think that, yeah, I think there is a balance. But my dad is a teacher too. So maybe that's how he learned it. And that's just how he was, because he's a teacher and a farmer. So he does both. And so, yeah, maybe that's where he's got it from as well. So no, I'll use that and hopefully hold on to that as I go into coaching.
You've both given away the tricks of the trade here, by the way. They'll never take you seriously again in the classroom, Matt. You want to hope that this volleyball job thing sticks around.
The other one lesson I always remember is they said when you get a group that comes together, the troublemakers always sit at the back on the left as you look. Now I've told you that if ever you go in a room and you're sat there, you'll think, am I the troublemaker?
Yeah.
You know why that is, don't you? It's because the class, that's the furthest seat away from the classroom door. Because classrooms invariably you enter from the left-hand side as you would on a ship or on a plane. They're all made the same way, aren't they? So if you're at the front of the classroom, the back left is furthest away from the door.
For a team meeting, Jordan, where would you have sat?
I'm usually like second row, like right in the middle.
But isn't that where everyone tries to be? Kind of in the middle, not at the front.
Yeah, not if you sit in the front, you're a little weird. All right. Thank you. And then, you don't want to be too far in the back because then I can't see. So then I can't hear. So, yeah, second row is a good place to be,
That's a good lesson for comedy shows as well. Never sit in the front row. Are you vocal in those team meetings?
Say again?
Are you vocal in those team meetings, or do you sit?
Yeah, I think the older I've gotten, the more I've kind of expanded into that. And I think a lot of times people look to me like, what's Jordan going to say? And it's like, oh man, I don't want to talk right now. I just don't want to say anything, So yeah, oftentimes I do talk. Yeah.
Right then, Jordan, we have your pleasure for 4 of these podcasts, and it's been absolutely lovely to chat. Who do you think would be a great guest on this show? You can pick more than one person, male or female.
Oh goodness. I think you did Louisa on one of those other ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think
it doesn't rule her out. She's
Doesn't
not.
rule her out.
She's not home and dry.
She's good.
She was a great guest, actually. Really great guest.
It was the first one that really took off, wasn't it? As well.
Yeah, it was. It was. She was. It was when we spoke to Louisa that we realised we were onto a winner. She's good egg.
Yeah, good. I would say, Robin de Cruyff is so funny. Have you guys watched her Instagram? Also, if you had her and Kim Hill on at the same time, I guarantee you it would be just a comedy show. Hilarious. I would definitely tune in.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who else. Goodness, whenever I get asked these, I'm like, I can never. All these names all of a sudden just like vanish. It's like, what?
That's why we prep you for some of the questions and not the others. You see.
I think Maya Ajonovic also. I think she is very well spoken and has a lot of experience.
It's funny you say that. There's an email in my drafts that is half written to her about it.
Yeah, no, I think she would be great.
That won't make the cut if she says no, by the way.
But now you can add to that email. Jordan Larson says you would be a fantastic
That's true.
guest. And you can actually send her the audio file of her saying that. So, perfect.
Yep. I'm in. I can also write her, hey, get on the podcast.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
Okay.
Does that end the episode, do you think, Matt?
I think we're nearly done. Just one more to go, Jordan.
Oh, yes. Do you have any words to end episode 3, Jordan?
No, this was fantastic. Thanks again for having me back. And looking forward to more.
It is lovely to have you. Matt, any words for the fans?
No, just keep giving us ideas of who we should be having on the podcast. Jordan's given us a few names, and the usual things: subscribe, rate us. We want feedback. Best thing we can do is give what people are after. So tell us.
This is the Ace Space, the volleyball podcast brought to you by CEV. Thank you very much for listening. This was an episode with Jordan Larson. There are 4 in total, and we cover pretty much everything. As Matt said, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, tell your friends about the podcast, and suggest those guests. We love to hear from you. A reminder of the hashtag, which we should definitely do more throughout the episode so it really hits home. It is Let Volleyball Talk. So get in touch. I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.